Let's turn our focus to one of the top stories that we have been following here on Mirror Now. Resident doctors who have been protesting for weeks over the NEET PG counselling issue have threatened mass resignations. In a release, the Federation of Resident Doctors Association of India said that they have been forced to consider this step since no concrete measure is being taken by the Union Health Ministry on expediting the NEET PG counselling matter, which would add more doctors into the system and hence reduce the work burden on doctors. Remember, doctors have been protesting at the doorstep of the Union Health Ministry for 5 days in a row now. Let me go across to my colleague Ayushman, who's been tracking this. Ayushman, we believe that in a short while from now, the doctors are going to have a meeting this afternoon in order to come up with a proper decision on whether or not they're going to go ahead with this mass resignation threat. But it's a very drastic step. What has actually led to this? Just bring that up to our viewers up to speed on that aspect.
Well, time at 2 p.m. Today, the Federation of Resident Doctor Association will be holding a meet, which will be in which the invitation has been given to different RDAs. They will be taking part, and the decision of mass resignation is something that they have been contemplating for past few days since the communication channel between the health ministry and the doctors who are protesting has been completely closed, because there has been literally no communication after the logjam continued after the minister met and no written assurance was given. Now, here at 2 p.m.'s meeting, we are being told that the FORDA will consider as to how pan-India, the mass resignation can be given by these resident doctors, so that the pressure is built on the government to expedite the NEET PG counselling in Supreme Court. So far, this is the second leg of protest of resident doctors, and this time they have started with emergency services. If you see bigger hospital like Safdarjung, RML, there all emergencies are crippled because the resident doctors who contribute very much to the system are on strike. At the same time, these doctors are saying that somewhere the communication channel from center is completely closed, and that is the last reason that they can do, and that's why they are going on mass resignation. Today at 2 p.m. it will be decided as to how these resignation can be given pan-India, and the module for that will be decided. But this call has been made sure that they will be resigning in order to tell the government that they are overburdened, they are overworked, and somewhere the NEET PG counselling should be starting without any delay, and the government should approach the Supreme Court for expediting it. And now, we have been told that somewhere the doctors on ground are conveying this to the ministry, that mass resignation is the only resort that they can adopt. Otherwise, these protests have not worked so far.
Right. Ayushman, thank you so much. We'll, of course, be tracking all the developments with regard to that meeting with you. I am also joined in the broadcast by Dr. Anuj Agarwal, one of the resident doctors who's protesting. Dr. Agarwal, what we can see is that this is a very, very, very drastic step which is being considered by the doctors. Final decision is still awaited in that, probably through the meeting this afternoon. But we also have to keep in mind how the patient care in these 4 big government hospitals in Delhi has been affected because of this stir. We have been covering from the point of view of the demands of the doctors. Of course, these demands are valid, but at the same time, we cannot ignore how patients are also being left in the lurch because of this.
Yeah, we agree that the patient care is being hampered, and we take utmost priority of the patient care. And that's why we have done every step with a prior intimation of 48 hours given to all the authorities. And even now, when we are at the extreme step of ours, the patients are being taken care of by the consultants and faculty of every hospital. So yeah, we agree that the patient care is being hampered, but the responsibility is to be owned by government also, because it is not like the doctors are the scapegoats of all the shortcomings of the government. It is not like, even if the infrastructure is not there or there is shortage of doctors, the counseling is not happening, the joining of doctors is not happening. Doctors are not the scapegoats of everything. Government has to take some responsibility. Already in the history, it is the longest protest by doctors which is ongoing, and the government is silent and they are completely mute. So the government has to take a step, and they have to take the responsibility for that.
Right. What exactly has, I was in fact asking my colleague Ayushman also, who's been tracking the protest for days now, but what exactly has led to this thought, Dr. Agarwal? Because we've seen that you all have been protesting outside the Union Health Ministry. Is it the fact that the centre has been completely silent this time around? This is the second leg of your protest. Is it the fact that the centre has maintained a stony silence that has brought about this mass resignation threat? I mean, is that a step that you think is going to work to finally wake them up from the lull?
Yeah, definitely, because the government is completely silent, they are completely mute, and there is no action being taken by the government. So we are completely helpless. And even till date, not such a kind of protest has happened till date. And in the previous instances, you must be aware that even after a protest of 1 or 2 days at most, the government would have taken some good step for the welfare of the patients as well as the doctors. But since almost 9 days have been passed and the government is completely silent, they are not doing anything. They are just completely ignoring this event, and they are focusing their attention towards ongoing elections and whatever other things. So we have been left with no other option, and we are seeing that the patient care is being affected since almost a year. So if the government is not sensitive at all, then what other option we are left with?
Right. Dr. Agarwal, at this point in time, of course, a final decision on the mass resignations is still to be taken. But what exactly shape and form in terms of the magnitude of these mass resignations are we looking at? Is it going to be a Delhi-specific thing that is being considered? What exactly are the specifics that's being mulled at this point in time?
No, no. This is going to be a pan-India mass resignation, and it will be of a very large magnitude, and the quantum will be very large. Already, you must have seen that colleges of UP and few colleges in Rajasthan have already released their press release, and they have already agreed to this. And in the meeting that was called on Saturday night or the Friday night, all the colleges are agreed, and we are just doing our formalities to release the letter after the meeting, and it is going to be a pan-India movement and pan-India mass resignation campaign.
Right. Dr. Anuj Agarwal there, one of the protesting resident doctors. Thank you so much for joining us with that.